This is Watch Your Style. My name is Eric. Today I'm going to go over with you a brand that we have not discussed in the past. That brand is Omega watches. So today I have for you another watch from my personal collection, and this watch is the Omega Planet Ocean. This particular model belongs to the Seamaster series, not to be confused with the Speedmaster series, which is two different types of lines that they have. I always like to think that the Seamaster tends to be more of the Submariner line like Rolex, whereas the Speedmaster tends to be more like the Daytona, more of a driver car inspired watch. But again, today what I have for you is the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean. Now this is a watch that right off the bat, when you look at it, it's got size. I just feel like the one statement that this watch makes is size. It has a 45.5 millimeter case, which is pretty big by today's standards, because lately watches I see are going back to a little bit more of a normal size, being 45 millimeters would be pushing the limits of the extremes in my opinion. But it's basically a very solid, heavy stainless steel case that includes a chronograph function with a helium escape valve. So it's a nice looking watch. It's a very hardcore dive watch. Even though, I've criticized in the past that AP just came out with a new dive watch, the diver that's chronograph. I don't really agree too much with any dive watch that's a chrono. But, Omega's been around for a while, and we can kind of let that one go. This particular watch is very nice looking. It's got a nice looking dial. One thing that I like about it is that Omega has their signature broad arrow hands. Not every watch comes with it, but this particular watch, if you notice, it has the broad arrow minute and hour hands, which I for one particularly like. So before I go off on a tangent on a bit more about the details and the whole watch game and everything having to do with the Planet Ocean, one thing I want to tell you is Omega is one of those brands it has as much brand recognition as Rolex. If you haven't heard about Rolex, you've obviously been living under a rock. And I would say that the second brand that has the most recognition throughout the world is Omega. Like, everybody knows about an Omega watch. And I don't know if part of that has to do with their long run with James Bond and the whole 007 thing, because originally the Rolex Submariner was the first James Bond watch. But Omega took over that bid, and from that point on, Omega has been the official James Bond watch. They have that Omega Seamaster 007, which is actually a pretty nice looking watch. I've never had one myself in my hands, but I've seen it a lot in pictures. It's a good looking watch. So I guess because of that, it's just extremely marketable. These past Olympics that just passed, Omega was the sponsor. So Omega has always been a very large sponsor of sporting events. So when you buy an Omega, you're buying a watch that everybody knows and has plenty of brand recognition. So back to the Planet Ocean. This watch retails for $7,200. And for that amount of money, you get a lot to go with it. You get a solid construction steel bracelet. It has a very nice bracelet. Rotating bezel, chronograph function, but it also has a manual helium escape valve, as opposed to the Rolex one, which is an automatic escape valve, which actually just opens up on its own. This you have to manually open it up to release any helium. But to me, it's just a nice looking watch. Omega has a distinct looking case. The way that they shape the edges on all their cases, it has a distinct look. This watch, the only thing that I never liked about this watch, and it's why it's sat in my safe for a long time, it's very heavy. To me, it's almost heavier or just as heavy as the Deep Sea, which maybe just for me and my size, I just find it a bit heavy. The dial is nice, it's got a really nice overall look on it. I would say out of most of the Omegas out there, this is one of the ones that I like the most. The other one that I also like is the new Speedmaster line that comes in all black ceramic. That's a great looking watch, and it's got a Kevlar strap. That's one that's grabbed my attention, at least in the last couple years, that's one of the Omegas that's caught my attention. But nevertheless, this is a great starter watch if you're looking to buy something that's in the under $5,000 range. This is a great watch to look. Used Omegas, there's a lot of savings out there when you buy a used Omega. With a retail $7,200, I personally would want to be in the area of $4,000 or less when I would buy this model. With or without the papers or anything, that doesn't really matter. Because, you know, there's a ton of Omegas out there for sale. You know, it's one of those watches that has a lot of brand recognition, but it's not going to hold its value as good as a Rolex, of course. But nevertheless, you get a lot of watch for your money. A lot of watch. Now, as far as the watch game goes, this is a watch that I see it more as a beginner, entry-level collector watch. So if you're looking to get into collecting watches and you're trying to perhaps maybe buy your first watch, you might want to look into Omega. You know, they got good price points, and overall, like I said, you got brand recognition. So it's not like you're buying an off-brand that nobody knows. Everybody knows Omega. So if you're looking to make your next luxury watch purchase, feel free to send me an email at eric@crmjewelers.com. If you like this video, please like and share. Also, remember to subscribe to our channel. My name is Eric. This is Watch Your Style.